Sometimes equations have rational expressions in them. When we see equations with algebra fractions, one of the things we'd like to do is to not have those fractions involved. We can achieve that goal by multiplying by the least common denominator. Let's look and see what it is in this problem. 3x, 2, 6x, and 4. Well, we know there has to be an x in the common denominator. What's the common denominator of 2, 3, 4, and 6? Well, the first one you come across is 12. So we're going to multiply both sides of this equation by 12x. Let's see what happens when we do that. I like to write them out with each term. 12x times 12x here, times 12x here, and times 12x here. Every term has to be multiplied by the common denominator. When we divide these out, we'll end up with a 4 here, so that's a 20, minus 2 divides 12 6 times, so that's minus 6x. And then we'll do the same thing to the other side. 6x divides 12x 2 times, so that's a 10. And we'll have 4 divides 12 3 times, so that's a 3x. So by multiplying by the least common denominator, we've eliminated the fractions in the equation, and we can go ahead and solve as we normally would. So let's add 6x to both sides, leaving us with 20 equals 10 plus 9x. And let's subtract 10 from both sides, and that will give us 9x equals 10. And let's divide both sides by 9, leaving us with the answer x equals 10 over 9. Now this procedure is fine and works well. We just have to be careful of one thing. We know that we can never divide by 0. So if we have variables in the denominator, there are some restricted values. That is, there are some values for x that we are not allowed to use for answers or even to just plug in. In this case, we could not let x equal 0 because that would make 2 of the fractions in this original equation undefined. Once we've done this multiplication, that problem disappears. So we're liable to get some answers down here that aren't really answers. They're called extraneous roots. They solve the problem, but they don't check in the original equation. Multiplying by the least common multiple may introduce extra answers that don't check in the original.